I was like trying to talk into the mic and forgot to turn the mic on. Classically professional as always.
That's how we start.
So yeah, 404 podcast 004.
Here we are.
Oh look, and here's Gnome. Gnome's just joined us.
That was a queue at the shop. I went to the shop and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, see, this is how we roll at 404. That's why we're called Error 404.
Hey, there's nothing like joining a live stream or a Zoom chat, and then the first thing that comes up is just instigate at error 404. I'm just like, well, what?
What's going on here? Who's hacking my computer?
Mate, I still didn't get all the dust up from my studio. Like, I was like scrubbing away, and then I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was just telling Ollie about this.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's like on my piano, well, my electric piano in there. I didn't think it was going to go everywhere, but I've got this orbital sander, and it's got like a dust catcher at the bottom of it. That thing doesn't catch fuck all dust.
So the dust catcher didn't work too well then?
No, mate.
How does this mic sound when I'm now alive?
Sounds good.
Is it clear enough? Yeah.
It's all right, but it's a bit weak. It sounds like it's gonna fuck up. Do you know what I mean?
It sounds like it's gonna fuck up.
Yeah, it sounds a bit robotic. Like it's gonna.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Error 404. Yeah. So yeah, we've got Korbex on.
Big ups.
Nice.
Thanks for having me on.
I don't know whether to move back to this mic. Which mic sounds better?
Go to the other mic.
So this is the Fisher Price mic.
Fucking hell, what is going on, man?
So yeah, this is the weird mic, and then I've got the condenser mic, which is this one. Hang on.
Hello, this is the condenser mic.
Yeah, the condenser mic is better. Sounds better. There's something.
So it's not so robotic.
Not as much as the other one. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's something.
Maybe
to do
it's
with
the
mixer
talk over.
gain.
Is that better?
Try again. Speak again.
Is that better with the talk over off?
Yeah, it's a little bit better.
Right, let's try.
It's almost like, you know, when you smash a gain so much that it like starts crackling and shit. But it's not that loud. It's quite
It's
normal
loud, but it's
volume.
not that loud. What about that?
It still sounds a bit weird, mate. To be honest with you.
Should I put some effects on it in that? Well, I'll just sound weird. It's fine.
Yeah, it's doable. Like.
It's not that different from normal day, is it?
Well, there is that, yeah. So yeah, Revolution DNB in the house. Ollie, how you doing?
I'm very good, mate. Like I said, thank you for having us on. It's an absolute pleasure, mate. Big ups for the podcast, man.
Yeah, we've been seeing quite a lot. We've done quite well. My dog's barking. Can you hear the dog go mad? Boris, stop. Pack it in. So yeah, they've sent us I think I've got like 14 tracks, which is quite a lot for us to go through, which is good.
Well, that's the thing with this lockdown period, isn't it? You got time to grind.
Not me.
Yeah, not known.
I started working at like a brain injury rehabilitation centre, so
Fair one, man.
I'm sort of on the front lines and stuff. So if anyone gets like COVID there, obviously, it's a serious issue. So we've got to like proper look after them because they're vulnerable and that. But it's an alright job actually. It's pretty decent. So.
No, big ups to you, man. It's like everyone else says, man. It's COVID thing's a hard time, man, and big ups to anyone who's on the front line, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all a bit crazy.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you there, mate.
Rich,
So,
what have you named the podcast so I can find it on YouTube?
it should be 404 podcast 004. I'm just gonna rename Ollie's thing. But yeah, as you can tell, the podcast are quite laid back, mate. We're not like rushed. We don't really like have a schedule. We just kind of wing it and have some fun. What are you eating? Are you eating a pasty?
Sandwich.
Don't even get started with me with pasties, man. I literally, the pasty shop across from us opened for the first or second time today. And I literally ran over just before the podcast, and they just fucking shut, man. I couldn't believe it.
Wounded,
No.
wounded.
3 months for my pasty.
Oh, That's it. We're all kind of missing those little luxuries, you know.
I know, man. I'm gonna have to get my baker's apron on, aren't I?
You're gonna have to start making your own, buddy.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's,
Dan has just told me he's running late. One part of Space Invaders. I think
Yeah,
Tom,
so-
the other part, said he's going to be about 6 o'clock, so he'll be joining us a bit later.
Yeah, he's,
Sarge,
still-
randomly, has had a root canal yesterday. So he was like, yeah, I can't really talk that well, and I'm in a bit of pain, so yeah, I'll see you next week. All right, mate. Oh, Gnome's just vanished.
Having one of those errors.
Yeah, well, mate, last week, because the first week it was like the first time we'd used the Zoom thing as like an overall thing. We didn't really know how it works, and it obviously gave us like unlimited time. And then the second time we went live, it cut us off, like everybody out of the. I'm like midway through talking to everybody, and then suddenly bang! Oh, so yeah, everybody's cut out of the meeting. Sorry about that, guys. Apparently my time limit's run out.
Oh, what?
Quickly add everybody back in. So yeah, back to the talk.
Yeah, mate, we're coming across all kinds of weird and wonderful little snags, I'd say, on the live stream and stuff like that. Different things where like, nope, we're cutting it and starting it back up, and
Yeah, it's not always that easy, is it, with the live streams?
no, you just gotta it's like this, isn't it? You just gotta grizz and bear it, have a laugh, and
Yeah,
enjoy
this
it.
is
At the
it.
end
This
of
is
the
what
day,
we've started doing, just not really caring and just pressing go and just
Yeah,
having a
and
laugh, really.
That's all you really can do these days, isn't it? Like, I think everyone's just happy to be playing something.
Yeah, this is it. So yeah, I might play one of yours. I might play one of yours now. Let's have a look.
Let's do it.
Sorry about my Fisher Price mic issues. So, what's this Kalia tune that you sent me?
So Kalia is is a tune that went out on the Lockmars. Big up to Lockmars. They did a various artist LP, and yeah, they were kind enough to get me involved on it. And I'd been working with Leslie D on the master for that tune for quite a while.
Is that the
And,
guy from Sika?
Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolute legend. Really good mastering technician as well. Yeah, and we'd been working on it for a while. It was one of those things that we'd just been sat on, and then he hit me up, and I was like, well, I do have this tune still that hasn't really been done anything yet. And yeah, he was gassed to get it on there, and yeah, big ups to them for pushing it out.
Right, I'll let this one play a bit. Oh, this microphone. Yeah, this one, Korbex, Kalia.
Blazing in my chalice. Blazing in my chalice.
Ooh, stinker. So yeah, this is like kind of the style I'm kind of feeling at the moment. Like I've kind of changed my style of mixing, and it's like, yeah, like going a bit more like that tribally dark kind of rollery edge. Yeah, I'm quite liking like the techier, sort of darker stuff. It's kind of what I started on years ago, though. Really, this sort of stuff. What is Gnome doing?
Yeah, it was my audio interface went autistic.
Just for a second there, as usual. The funny thing is, we tested all this before, like, and it's still like, we go live and it's like, no, mate. So yeah, this one, Korbex, Kalia. Yeah, I quite like the sample.
Yeah, it's I actually believe the sample came from similar to the Spy Runaway kind of dubplate style tune that he did.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's one of those beautiful vocals that just kind of rolls in the background, gives a nice bit of atmosphere. And yeah, like big up to Lock Mars. That tune is now available over in their SoundCloud as a free download. So yeah, if that's your thing, man, feel free to jump over there, show them some support. They're doing big things, man.
Oh, free download, nice.
Gnome loves it. Yeah, I'm quite feeling that one. I like that one, mate.
Nice, mate.
It's got a good engineering behind it. You know what I mean? Like it sounds premium, like the engineering.
Premium, fuck yeah.
No, I appreciate that. Like I said, like the master on that one's Leslie D, and yeah, big ups to him, man. He definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it's got a nice bass on it. A lot of people either have the bass too loud or it's dwindling in the background. You know, it's quite difficult in it to get the sub right to the actual sort of mid bass range and stuff.
We talk about this quite a lot, I guess, is mastering, and yeah, it's kind of what we talk about a lot on here, I guess, because it's mainly production based podcast. And yeah, we've kind of always have that debate about the loudness war versus dynamic mixes, and obviously we prefer more dynamic stuff. We'd rather turn up the gain a little bit to match and it be more dynamic than it just be crunched through the roof.
I completely see what you mean. Like there are certainly some circumstances, especially in a tune like that, which has kind of a lot of kind of open dead space in it in between. You kind of want to make sure that you do have that dynamic range so that people can feel every time it's going up, and they really feel the hits of everything. The kicks really come through and everything like that.
When you do your mix downs, do you have any sort of like guidelines that you go through, like the minus 3 or minus 6 dB master thing, or
that very much depends. So at the moment I try to kind of produce the whole finished project myself, mastering and everything, and I normally start with some mastering elements like compressors and stuff like that on the mastering bus, just to kind of give myself that idea of where the tune's going to end up. Like you said with the previously, with when you get to that point where you got to decide, is the bass heavy enough, is everything like that, and when you're working with another engineer, there's a lot of that back and forth. Like they have to work within the limitations of the music that you've given them, and at the same time try and give you the best result. So yeah, for purely out of interest and because of RevDNB kind of growing into its own label, to kind of pushing that mastering side myself, and seeing what we can do with it. But there's no denying it's a very tricky thing, especially like you're saying with, do I make it really loud or do I focus on getting some good dynamic range in it? So, and I think ultimately that comes down to what tune you're making. Yeah,
there's usually like two like schools of thought that like we've had people like I think both are fine, but you know, we've had people on that they'll have say they'll mix down a track and make sure that everything's very light and dynamic or whatever, and then they'll send it off to the mastering engineer to push like the final volume on or whatever. And then there's like the newest school thought, which is sort of The only big artists that I can think of that do that do what I'm about to say is like Noisier. Like they tend to sort of produce, mix, and master all at the same time. So they'll have a limiter on their master channel and things like that. And they're essentially going by the philosophy of like, if you don't get it wrong at the start, then you're going to get it right at the end anyway. So you don't have to worry about just keeping the levels low and stuff, which is cool. And then they'll pay people to do masters if it's like a collaboration with another artist, or if it's, or so I've read anyway, or they'll pay for album mastering. Like they'll use single wave masters for album mastering, because that's a bit different. You've got to get everything in sort of like synchronization with each other. But apart from that, they don't really bother. They just smash into the limiter. But I always say to people, I think that might be a good, like I've always thought it might be the better way to approach it with drum and bass, not necessarily other styles of music, because drum and bass, like it's going to get sort of smashed at the end anyway. So it's like smashing it at the start, you sort of can hear where the limiter is going to take the brightness of the track or the saturation of the track in general. So it's kind of interesting to see what other artists do in that domain. Not that there's a wrong answer. It's just kind of interesting, you know?
No, I completely agree. And I kind of, especially when I was starting out, I got kind of lost in that fork in the road, and I found myself kind of halfway traveling down the master from the start, produce everything as it's going to be at the final product, and then working with engineers who would then require me to have nothing on the mastering channel, no compression, no limiters, no anything like that. And that kind of created like a bit of a fork in the road for me. And I decided basically to just work with a mastering engineer, in this case, Leslie D. And then on my spare time on other projects that necessarily weren't something that I would release, but was certainly something that was teaching me something as I was going through it, I would then try and do it with like actually mastering it from the beginning, working on the finished product. But even under those circumstances, I find that I normally try to reduce everything anyway, start with the actual mix down being quite quiet. And then as I begin to push everything and increase the gain on each different mixer channel, then I begin to hear those elements where there's a frequency clash here. And then I have this balance between pulling my EQ back at the same time as I'm pushing the gain further and further, and trying to really kind of fit it into that slot where it feels like it belongs, basically.
Nice. Yeah. It's a good approach. It's just interesting to hear everyone that comes on it. I'm probably going to ask the same question anyway, just to see what everyone says, because I think it was J-Tons. It wasn't J-Tons. It was
Jarring.
Yeah, Jarring said that they do like quite low masters, low mix sounds, and then they push it in mastering. But their songs did sound quite decent, you know, in the engineering wise and stuff, and reach loudness. I tend to use loudness like not for the same reasons as other people when I'm doing tracks, like when we're doing tracks. So like I'll use loudness as a sort of like as a sort of bottle cap to know roughly how everything's going to react to each other in like a kind of side chaining way. So like, you know, everything's struggling for bandwidth or in the frequency spectrum when you put it all in. And so like I like to push things really loud just to hear what's fighting against what. And then like when I hear something distorting or something, I'm like, right, well, that sound is obviously in conflict with something else because I've pushed the volume so loud. And then I can sort of fix the issue like without turning the volume down, or maybe only turning the volume down a little bit. But it's like a really cool indicator, so you don't have to like, you know, so you can like hear it straight away. You hear something clash straight away because of the loudness, and it's like, oh, all right, I'll just dip that in a frequency a little bit instead of having to like look for it with your eyes and shit, you know what I mean? So it's quite a useful tool. It's quite useful to like go loud sometimes just for things.
And like very much for me, when I started everything, it just had to be by ear. I mean, when I got onto the scene, it was my missus that got me into drum and bass initially, and that's kind of by taking me to my first rave. That's where the kind of dream of Revolution DNB began, and all that kind of things. But I would definitely say that when I started doing it, I was getting very lost in this, like, what's the right way to do it? And honestly, I don't think there is a right way to do it. For example, because I work on an old laptop at the moment, I'm very happy to say that I finally, after 3 years, managed to buy a new one. Should be arriving in a few days, so nice. That should cut those limitations. But sidechaining for me, majority of the time, was an option, especially in things like Kick, simply because the filter plugin I would be using, the calculations that I would have to do to run it through the plugin, that pre-render you get while you're listening to your track as you're producing it, that would just be so cut and so spiking in the processor to the point where it was almost impossible to hear what I was doing.
Yeah, like the buffering not working and things like that.
Exactly. So after doing some research, I actually found out that audio, he doesn't always necessarily use a sidechain. What he does is he does basically like a controlled EQ dip in his bass or anywhere, for example, to leave space to the kick. And that worked for me simply because there was a lot less processing that had to happen. And again, it's a limitation. I would say that there's certainly some places where I wish I could sidechain. But then there are other times when I'm like, well, work with the limitations you have, become good at what you've got now, and push it on from there. And I think that's what most people who get started out with, that's what they should do. Learn how to use an EQ and then really just push it as far as you can with your knowledge and then move on to the next thing. And I think by starting with the foundations and really getting a good understanding of them, I think it really helps moving forward.
Sounds good.
So I've just noticed Scott's joined us. Can you hear me on this microphone?
Right, you right, Scott, mate?
Yeah, you all good?
Yeah, sound, mate.
All good.
So I'll play another track from Korbex and Lose, I think this one is. Can you hear me all right? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good, mate. Now.
I've moved it a little bit further away and turned my master up.
I think as well my audio interface was spazzing out, so I was like, I think your mic's wrong.
What was it, yours with the robotic?
I reckon it was, yeah.
So yeah, hi to S4. S4's obviously got to do
fire in a system of failure.
So yeah, what's this one called, Ollie?
Oh, your mic's off. Ollie, it's cut off.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so this is System of Failure, produced by myself and one of the other guys in Revolution DNB, Lewis Short, Man Like Lose. And yeah, this is System of Failure, available another free download on Revolution DNB.
Yeah, shout's going out to really anybody that's been keeping an eye on obviously our release lately as well. Obviously we've been releasing some programs, which is quite exciting. So yeah, we'll play that track a bit later on. So yeah, this one, Korbex.
Fire in a system of failure.
Yeah, I like this one. I'm going to save the other one that I like more though.
Bless her.
Yeah, like I said, as soon as I played it and then when I heard the second drop, I was like, oh, mate.
Scott's phone died, Rich. Can you send him another hint?
System of failure.
Yeah.
System of failure.
Here he is.
it's one of those that just kind of rolls along in a unique way. You can definitely hear the influence on the drums from Lou's on that one. Very techy, very crisp.
Yeah, I was just about to say that probably the thing that stood out the most for me on that was like the background percussion. Like it sounded almost like bongos or tablas or
Yeah. That's what I mean. That kind of real
or
techy,
like ghost snares of some sort. I don't know.
Yeah, and you're completely right. So there are like kind of like a shadow effect of bongos used in the background, just really
that's cool.
filling out the kind of the deeper mid range that sits in that. Like we talked about with Kalia, that dead space. You don't always need to fill it with something loud, just something that allows the rhythm to keep going on.
Yeah, it just rolls it, doesn't it? It's nice. That's something I struggle with quite a lot in production is like getting something that's like I always call them like tickers, you know, like something that's like usually I use sort of either cut up ghost snares or cut up kicks or cut up hi-hats with cymbals, like sort of gated or whatever, but I've never really bothered to try any other kind of things like bongos or anything like that, but sounded good again. Like the transients are really sharp on the hits, so
Thank you.
Nice.
So that one, along with Fear, which are out on Revolution DNB, those are my masters. Again, using that system of going with how it's going to sound at the start, but pulling everything back. You don't necessarily need it to be as loud as possible to start with, because I do believe that you hear more if you have it quieter. You'll be able to hear more of the frequency clashes and such. And as you begin to kind of push the volumes and the gains and everything, and then begin to pull things back in the specific regions with the EQ, I think that's a very good way of understanding how and why you should push things and push the gains on certain things and which things don't need it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, definitely. It's a good track.
I've just invited them both again. Right, so I might as well play our track, Error 404, Got to Keep Moving, out now on Program.
You need a revolving door for this live stream.
I actually kind of like the tech issues. It makes
it kind of fits with our name, and you know that's what we're about.
Big tune.
So yeah, this was actually the first tune we produced together as Error 404. Very first tune.
And straight on to Ram. Big ups, boys.
Yeah, kind of shocked us because we were like, wow, we've got to aim high, haven't we? And yeah, I sent it to Ram, and within 24 hours, they're like, yeah.
Big ups, man. Big ups.
Solid tune.
Boris is like, yeah, podcast time, just when you want me to be quiet, I'm going to bark and run around like a nutter.
My cat walked in the cat flat, saw that I had my headphones on. Straight out. It's like, nope.
Again, just part of the show, you know.
What is going on?
Alright, Tom.
seriously. They're like full on scrapping. Right. So yeah, this one out now as part of the programmed V4.0. Error 404, got to keep moving, out now on program.
For anyone wondering about the vocals in it, there's a plugin called Isotope Vocal Synth 2, and it's really good at making like tube vocals like that if you sing into it, you know. Quite good plugin.
Hello. Sounds like a solid tune, bro. Solid tune.
Oh,
Look at that forehead. Alright, R Dave. Alright, R kid.
Oh, here he is. Fucking hell, where have you been?
That is a forehead, isn't it?
Why have you got some weird thing on your voice?
Mate, you're...
Why have you got a baby voice?
Dave,
Dave, you got a baby voice going on.
You've your sample rate's probably set to the wrong sample rate, so it's causing your pitch to rise.
So yeah, big ups everybody. So S4's joined us, Tom from Space Invaders, Dan from Space Invaders, and Parker with his squeaky voice.
You sound like a chipmunk, mate.
Yes, mate, Chipmunk Dave.
I'm fucking clipping this and like.
Chipmunk Dave, yeah, 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 yeah. Nah, just stay on like this. It's brilliant. Just stay like that, Dave. Come on.
Honestly, you just made this podcast hilarious. So like.
See, this is why we're Arrow 404. You get it now, guys, don't you?
This is a compilation of all the fuck ups.
Mate, I can't understand a fucking word.
that is brilliant.
This is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I can just hear this squeak.
Yeah, Dave, it'll be your sample rate, I think. I don't know how you're going to change it.
We still can't hear you, bro.
Fuck's sake.
So S4, while I've got you here, I might as well play one of your tracks. I think if I've got it on USB. Hang on, let me have a look.
Yeah, go on then. Me as well, bro. Me as well.
Was it drum and bass or is it like 140 or is it slower?
I don't know which one he's going to play. There's a few.
Okay, the only one that's on this USB, which means I haven't put that folder you gave me on there yet. Yeah, I know, I'm crap. Is My Town.
That's old now. I'm sat on like another 5 tracks, but that's old.
Jeez.
Yeah, I'll have it on there for your podcast. Don't worry.
See us pushing, we're moving high now. Pass the blunt and the liquor got a vibe out. We're living kings of the high ground. Step in, you know this is my town. See us pushing, we're moving high now. Pass the blunt and the liquor got a vibe out. We're living kings of the high ground. Step in, you know this is my town.
Well, there be times in my life where I was rolling short, so I had to knuckle down, stack a clear a couple more. I fixed up and stopped acting so dizzy. Got some people around me so they can just gas with me. Well, it's a holiday vibe, so let's get bonkers. Boy in the corner, I turn number 1 on your roster. Started from the bottom, still a mountain left to climb. Time to secure the bag.
That's
but I just do
flowy.
it in my own time. And I'm a ginger with bread, so you can't catch me. When I skip on the rhythm, I'm moving like an athlete. I pause and then jump all these fools, it makes me laugh. You think we're playing by the same rules? I'm in my own lane, I'm playing a different game, we ain't the same. Only thing similar is the galley and the Cali. Well, even then we're leagues apart, so just take the back seat whilst I carry on my own path.
See us pushing, we're moving high now.
Oh,
Pass
it
the
was
blunt and the liquor got a vibe out. We're living kings of the high ground. Step in, you know
Who's on this bit? Is that you as well?
Yeah.
We're moving high
Oh,
now.
fair.
Pass the blunt and the liquor got a vibe out. We're living kings of the high ground. Step in, you know this is my town.
This is my world, this is my town, this is my life, so I can't let myself down. Always pushing levels now, working hard, can't be settling down.
So yeah, this has got Sergeant Keatsy on it, right?
If I say I'ma do it,
Yeah,
I'ma
yeah.
do it. Any job, any music, you know,
Solid.
always straight to it. Bad situations, know I've been through it in this out time. Yeah, you already knew it. Hey, pass the liquor, just pass me the drink. I care about me, I don't care what you think. Always cheeky, I don't need to wink. Now humans are brainless, they should try and think. Can't play with keys, yeah, that's not an act like ally. I'm not a bad guy, just a mad mind, just a madman, yeah. On a track, fam, see more dirt than a trash can. Life's got no dash cam.
See us pushing, we're moving high now. Pass the blunt and the liquor got a vibe out. We're living kings of the high ground. Step in, you know this is my town. See us pushing, we're moving high now. Pass the
Yeah,
blunt
mate.
and the
I got
liquor
the I got the old cheeky vodka on me.
I was gonna say, has Gnome got his bottle of vodka on the go again?
Nah, it's all about these little Audi stubbies.
Summer tattoo, mate.
Hours, bro.
Don.
Are you drinking, Dave?
Hello, my name's Chipmunk Dave, and I'm not old enough to drink.
His head catches me off guard every single time.
Every shit I get a few rolls, no barrel.
Just creasing up, really.
pushing, we're moving high now. Pass the blunt and the liquor got a vibe out. We're living kings of the high.
Pull it up.
Yeah,
Dave on the
man,
remix.
nice.
But yeah, just finished a back-to-back tune with Keatsy, so we've got like a drum and bass back-to-back tune coming.
Nice.
Just literally 2 minutes 15 of bars, and more bars. It's great.
Yeah, make sure you send that then when we do the podcast, because we'll still do that.
Obviously.
It will just be on a different date than originally planned. Yeah, my bad.
Have you got anyone doing a D&B remix of that one?
Aye,
Not
aye.
you know.
Look at
That
Korbex
you know.
is like, yeah, I'll have some vocals.
Not yet. If you want to, welcome to the
Mate, I'm keen. I love those vocals. I'm feeling like some kind of like summery jungle roller. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that could fully be.
See, this is what the podcasts are for, look. Networking, let's have it.
Yeah, man. If you're
Right,
keen,
I'm just going to have a look what Space Invaders have sent me a minute. So, yeah, chat amongst yourselves.
I'll try and get all the like. I'll bundle all the like vocals together and I'll send them over.
Yeah, man. That you got like this intro kind of melodic kind of like bongo-y type thing. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
If you can send that across as well, like
Yeah, of course.
keep that rolling through the flow. Yeah, that mate, man's got ideas.
That's calm. We can sort that.
So
Scott,
if
where
you-
know-
did
You
you
know, if
record
it's coming
the
from
vocals?
Molly, it's going to be smelly.
Standard.
Scott, where did you record the vocals? Did you have like a
In my
little
bedroom.
in your bedroom? Have you got
Yeah,
what mic? Do
fair.
you know what mic are you using? You got a condenser or?
Yeah, I got P120.
Oh, nice. No,
I
it
literally
sounded
sent
quite
that
good.
to
You know.
Sarge and he sorted that out.
Yeah, it sounded
Sounded
quite
very
nice.
Yeah.
Dave's messaging me like, what the fuck is going on?
When he gets back, just say, yeah, it's fixed, even if it's not, and then just keep it like that for the whole street.
I would love
Like,
that.
yeah, sound is fixed, mate. It's fixed. Don't worry.
So, welcome, Tom and Dan, Space Invaders.
Hello.
All right.
How you both doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah, welcome
Same.
to our professional podcast.
Love it. We love to hear it.
Absolute belter. So, yeah, you've sent me some tracks. I'm just going to look at the name, but hang on. So this one's called Total Carnage. What's your plans for this one then, boys?
This one's actually coming out with another tune that I think you have and you'll be playing on Revolution. No idea when. I think it's looking towards late July, early August, I believe.
Yeah,
Ollie.
see, this is the good thing. We've already locked out a date. So what we'll do, we'll be releasing these two tunes on the 10th of August. So keep an eye out for Revolution D&B. You'll see all the updates, all the clips, everything. Enjoy the tune. Yeah, it's a big tune, man. Big ups to Space.
Hey.
Yeah, nice. Liking it.
Appreciate it. The sub sounds really weird through my headphones. It's kind of like the same thing a little bit.
Yeah, to you guys on the Zoom call, it might sound a bit odd, but obviously on the live stream, it all sounds pang.
Oh, good.
Yeah, probably use the headphones to be fair.
Because I've got it running everything through my mixer. You guys are on one separate channel, so the whole Zoom call's coming through a DJ channel on the mixer. So it kind of like, the way I broadcast it's all like, premium.
The whole audio sounds really good on my end as well. I've got some like PC headphones and a good audio.
You gotta get that as a sample right there, just premium.
Premium!
Oh, fuck yeah.
So yeah, this one, Space Invaders, Total Carnage.
We were going for like a really sort of like minimal but like heavy, dark roll. Like, we didn't want to overpack it with what we had. Like, there's a lot of like low end to it, but like there's not a lot of like high. We wanted to pack it with like full of like little techie drums and some like nice mid samples and like effects that like just sit in the background nicely, like little animals. Because we tried to make it so we like ordered the tune as if you were going through a game. So like that's why it like introduces contestant 1, contestant 2. And when you start, it's like gunshots, and if you listen to the samples throughout the phases, it's like you're going through a game.
That's clever, I rate that. Really rate that. That's it.
10 seconds.
Big tune.
Oh, sick.
Like that.
Rate the idea behind it as well, like the game. That's fucking sick.
It's funny.
Appreciate it.
Whenever I hear anyone's tracks on this podcast or in general, like the engineering and like audio quality is always like top notch. The only thing that I ever have like, criticism about is like the creativity of tracks, but I don't know if that's like me being slightly autistic. Like, I make like retarded tracks.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'll make things that are just weird, like
the 01212 one, mate.
Just weird shit.
Or the Harry Potter meme.
When other people make tracks, I can't hear the purpose behind the track that they make. Like I can't hear why they
fully.
make
I know
the
what
track.
you mean.
So like that's the thing that I look for the most in when I hear a track and I'm like, oh, I know why they've made that. Like it is representing something of a purpose. It really catches me. Whereas there's not a lot like, obviously I'm not saying that everyone should do that. I'm just saying that there's not a lot of that in the drum and bass scene. So I like to try and promote people to like, I don't know, make songs that have like a purpose or a meaning in them. And it doesn't have to be like vocally. It could be like, oh, I've made this new. It could be anything. It could be like, oh, I've made this new bass line and it's like completely different from every other bass line. So then it has that it's showcasing that new bass line. That's the purpose of that track. And then another track could be like, it's showcasing, I don't know, lyrics or something. And then another track could be showcasing like something that's got like really unique in the intro or I don't know. But yeah, there's not enough. There seems to be a lot in the scene of people just sort of making nice bangers that work in clubs. But then they're not thinking, right, I need to actually come up with like super unique, purposeful ideas for my tracks. Like,
because
I want to try and promote that,
Before, like, drum and bass even was around, like, people were like writing music and playing it on guitars for the purpose of being enjoyed by others as like meaningful. And like you connect with music on a spiritual level, don't you? It's not just for some people, it obviously is just you jump up.
I think,
do you know what I mean?
I think
but like
it's
a
all
lot of
dependent
people,
on...
if you're really into it, is like you connect with it a lot more.
I think it's all dependent on the scene as well. So like when it comes to the music that I make like I don't really make drum and bass a lot anymore. But the drum and bass that I do make, I put like a message in the words that I'm trying to use. but when I'm making other music, I make it built off emotions. So there is a meaning and a bit behind there, which I don't usually get from other, like a lot of music now.
Yeah, totally.
No, I completely agree with what you're saying there. I mean, I quite often find myself, I have, suppose, maybe a slightly unique take on the purpose of my tune. Quite often for me, I start a track with kind of a blank canvas. Sometimes I'll have an idea of what I want, but a lot of the times
I'm just going to go toilet, guys, so just keep talking.
Can you put your hand up next time, please?
Go for a tinkle.
Ask next time.
So for me, what I really do is I always produce with the idea that I'm going to be mixing it and it's going to be played in a set.
That's a good mental, like, sort of head to go in with, to be fair.
So that has a big kind of effect on how the structure will be. So, for example, if I know I want to drop the tune by itself and it's a heavy tune, then quite often I'll give it a 32 bar kind of initial drop, and then it'll have a mid-drop bridge ready for me to switch up into the next double I want to do or something like that. And I try to have that in mind when I'm doing things. And for us, or for me specifically, the reason why I really liked Total Carnage is because it has that it's very open, but it is entertaining throughout. But because it's open, it makes it a very ideal tune to kind of mix with, double drop with, and those kind of things. And that's one of the reasons why I'm, obviously because it's also a well-produced tune, I really enjoyed the tune, but that's one of the reasons why I really wanted it on Revs. So like we said, that'll be out free download along with their second tune, which I'm sure we'll be showcasing as well.
Yeah, I'm going to play that one next, I think. What's the other one called?
Tom, do you want to give the name for the next one? Come on.
I can't remember which tunes I've sent you.
Is it Big Sound?
It's Rhythm and Cat. Rhythm and Cat is the next tune.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. And both tunes available August 10th on RevDNB.
See, Ollie's on it. Yeah.
The dog actually just barked in time then. Hey, love that sample. Phone noises.
Indeed.
Thought so. Proper hanging out.
I'll tell you the story behind it in a minute.
I'm about to have the mic turned off the whole time. She's just going mental. Every little thing that goes by, he's like, "Yeah, what are you doing? Why are you walking past my house?" He's got proper little man syndrome. they're the ones moaning. Such a hard life being a dog, really, isn't it?
The hardest, mate. All those streets. How dare you?
I like sharing this podcast with the like D&D groups on Facebook. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get banned at some point. I don't actually care anymore, so.
No.
No
So yeah, this one, Space Invaders, Rhythm and Cat.
And again, this is a good example of that, where we talk about how tunes are good to mix. Because this one is so heavy in the low end, it allows you to have that other tune which has that more higher frequencies that you can really double it with. And yeah, that's what I really enjoy about this EP.
It also just about hits the like purpose thing that I was talking about as well, because I can hear like I can hear the inspiration behind the track with that like ooh sample, you know what I mean? Like the emphasis or the front stage in a way, sort of, is that little sample, the ooh sample. Like that's what's giving it its kind of unique-ish kind of vibe. If you took that out, the song would be kind of different. Like it'd be like, oh, it's just, you know,
yeah,
like,
fully.
You know what I mean? It's like, so it's giving it that like sort of purpose to breathe. Like you don't have to go completely mad when you put a purpose in tracks, but I hate it when people just do a generic, like a 100% generic track, and there's no little kind of weird thing in there that's like that puts your attention on it. You know what I mean? So like I'm the opposite. I have the opposite problem. I like go too unique, and it sounds a bit. It's like really good on the internet.
Ain't that the
kind
fucking
of flops
truth?
a little bit in the clubs. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
hard to get that balance. Hard to get the balance. Like.
No, the reason behind the phone sounds is because part inspiration and part logic of my thinking. Dutter uses a Snapchat notification in some of his tunes, and it fucking slaps. It just sits perfectly.
It's all about using silly samples.
Yeah, that was the inspiration behind it. We were trying to originally use the Tinder sample, but it didn't fit with the tune, so we've got that another time. But yeah, no, I got some of them samples, and
when people,
when you're at a party, specifically after an after party or something, and you've lost your phone, and it just suddenly randomly goes off when you're not in a state to realise where it is. That's where the name of the tune links quite nicely with the phone sounds in my.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
It still spins me out every time as well. Every time I hear it, I'm checking my phone. I'm like, oh.
it came on. I was like, am I on? What?
Yeah, we've just done that in that hernia tune, haven't we, Justin?
Hey.
That hernia tune that I've just stemmed up and sent you. That's got like a stupid phone call at the start. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So like the purpose of that track is obviously Rich like nearly I don't know what happened to him.
At my major hospital episode.
Yeah, he fucked up, and then like I was sleeping at his house, and he was like on the bed, like pretty much
being sick everywhere. Justin's like, yeah, I've had enough. In the ambulance, off you go.
So I rang the ambulance, got him in there. Like
see you later. So yeah, that tune. I'm sure we'll have a preview of that soon. But yeah. We know what you mean with the phone call noises. So I might as well play one of the tracks we've just signed to Yeah You, which is a local label down in Cornwall. This one's
Cornwall?
Love and Thunder, Era 404, featuring Cali.
Let's go.
I immediately love those drums.
Yeah.
like restored grapes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
I love that little sample you're playing with there. That's sick.
I can show you love, I can show you wonder, but if you think you're tired.
So yeah, I actually named this after the forthcoming Love and Thunder movie. Justin wrote some lyrics, Ali sang it, and off we went.
I can show you love, I can show you wonder, but if you think you're tired, I will show you thunder. I can show you love, that's how deep under, but if you think you're tired, I will show you my thunder.
to behave.
Yeah, mate, that's sick.
I love how all your tunes just roll so nice.
So yeah, this one's forthcoming on Yeah You, and the B-side will be Jungle Travelers, so I'll play that one next.
Are these free download, Rich, or?
Full release, Yeah You.
Yeah, this one's on Yeah You, yeah. We got some of those bootlegs that we got cut. They're free downloads, aren't they? I can't even remember what we did with them.
Yeah, the Rihanna one will be coming very soon, and I'm pretty sure we're going to give away the Better Off Alone one as well.
You could play those on the stream. You haven't played that yet.
Alright, I'll do a little 404 segment, shall we?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, just do like, just cut them short so we're not here all day, because we've got quite a lot to go through, haven't we? But
how much did you actually
short like that then?
That one?
I will show you thunder. I can show you love.
Don't want to be here all bloody day, son.
Yeah, I rate the way you use your vocals.
I keep forgetting to turn the mic on like an idiot.
yeah, there was a lot of editing, but like Callie sings quite well, so it was easy.
So yeah, this one, Jungle Travelers, forthcoming Yeah You.
I think the tablas were like some random like Apple loop preset.
Yeah, it was a standard Apple loop.
Yeah, we were just like, that's sick, let's just fucking chuck them in for no reason whatsoever.
Literally no reason at all. Error 404, bang, stick the Jungle Travelers in there.
That's a lovely snare.
Just a bit of a minimal roller.
Got those jungle samples in there and all that.
Yeah, it's more of like a original kind of vibe, isn't it?
It's one of them tunes you play at a rave and you just stand there taking it in like.
Tell you, I wouldn't be standing still with this one.
I guess because I get too fucked.
I'll let it play to the next bit of the Tablas again, and then yeah, I'll do the Better Off Alone one next.
Yeah, Better Off Alone's probably like the one that I'm happy with. Because we remade everything, you know what I mean? We didn't sample anything, we just completely remade it all, like, and remix. More of a cover, and we got one of my friends, Dana, to sing it, you know?
So yeah, these are the Tablas, and isn't it a didgeridoo over the top?
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Get go for a bit of that tribal feel, I rate it.
Oh yeah, I played the piano parts as well, so I played
So
it.
yeah, Dana Licks on vocals, Error 404, Better Off Alone, full on DNB cover.
I swear there's nothing Gnome can't do. Can you build a rocket for me?
Do you think you're better off alone?
Them vocals are pang.
Do you think you're better?
She's from Austria.
Yeah, I dropped this at Congo Natty, I think was the first time, and yeah, it went off.
Yes, wouldn't it just after your other one?
Do you think you're better off alone?
That's a very unexpected drop, I like that.
Do you think you're better off alone?
That is tight.
a bit of a cameo crooked feel on the drum. Camo crooked. Whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The clicks.
It's sort of this really tame, neuro-y sort of vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very traditional drum and bass sort of thing.
Yeah.
And this is coming out for free download, right?
We think so, yeah.
This might have to make a feature on our Summer Essentials number 3 down.
Yeah, mate, I'm feeling that, to be fair.
Nice. The breakdown I like the most about the song.
It's just one of them ones you can listen to all day, every day.
Yeah, it's like banter from headphones, isn't it? While you're chilling. Decent.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, I love the processing on the vocals. It's tight, very tight. It's like a beautiful amount of reverb just to really get that the width and the depth in the vocal, but at the same time it doesn't kind of spray out all over the mix.
Shout outs to Native Instruments. He made a really sick reverb unit for free called ROM. It's like RAUM. It's a free download plugin. It's really good for reverb.
Dan, I hope you're writing this down. Get all these plugins, mate.
Mate, I've got to have like a plug-in hunt at some point, mate.
You need all the bloody help you can get.
Yeah, mate, that's down to, you know. Does anybody want to produce some tunes for me? That'll be, I'll pay
I'm joking.
Nah, mate, it's facts.
Sorry, just disappeared for a minute there.
And the strings, if anyone's interested in the violins, there's like Native Instruments did a really good contact pack of solo violins, and it's like fucking epic. Like you can just play violin parts, like you know, like riffs and stuff, and it sounds like a perfect violin. So good. I'll find out what it's called in a minute.
So yeah, this one, we'll probably give this one away quite soon. I think we're quite close to our target of 800 followers on Facebook. I think we're at like 550, maybe 600. So if everyone gives our Facebook page a push, we'll be giving this one away soon.
No, I still remember getting that video in Factory from going natty. I was loving.
Yeah, that was a beast, bro. Absolute beaster.
Sick experience, like watching you play your guys too, and you just like taking it all in. It was like a proper vibe. Like it was so good.
Nice.
I love the drums in this as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say, mate, that pattern, a bit of me, that.
I really like really high pitched snare, which is like really apparent. It's nice.
Every single song, just fuck it up. At
I'm
the
sick
end.
though.
Yeah. So yeah, that one will be coming free very soon. This one, we don't really know what we're doing with yet. So this one's Error 404 and Tesseract. 9 to 5 in featuring Cali.
I love how Rich is like one of the sickest DJs ever, and then he's like put on like radio duty for the podcast. Got to play one song after the other.
Mate, I'm going to end up being like, you know, all these BBC things and that. I'm going to have to start being a presenter or something. I'm in the wrong trade.
I don't want to hit any crossfading, any mixing, alright?
Just presenting only.
It's only Instigator out here. What are you saying?
Rich would have dropped like 3,000 songs by now.
Yeah, I've already gone through my 400 tunes, sorry.
When are you getting that 6-channel mixer, mate?
That definitely needs to happen, actually.
This one was made in my kitchen with a piano on top of the toaster and kettle, wasn't it? No.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It's got to be the name of the tune then, isn't it? Toaster and kettle.
Shame Callie's such a bum around, isn't it, really? She's such a good singer, but she like takes ages to get vocals over. So we originally we were gonna have Arrow 404 as like Callie as the main singer, like, but she's so busy all the time that we just couldn't like possibly put that in.
What, as in because she's like really good at singing, she's like busy like that, or she's just long?
Yeah, no, she's just long. Like she's really good at singing, but she's not getting. She's really good at singing, but she's just always doing things with friends or like working and stuff like that, and so she just doesn't have much time to like contribute to it, which is fair enough. You know, I'm not saying it's her fault or anything. I'm just saying.
How dare she have a social life?
Yeah, exactly. It's just annoying.
She must do music all the time.
Yeah, like fucking chain her to the fucking condenser mic and that, like poker, like come on.
Existence. So yeah, this one, Error 404, Through Rain and Sun, featuring Cali again, and this one's out now on Invasion Audio, and BBC played this last night, and they're playing it again tonight on the Introducing show.
It's such a sick tune though, to be fair.
Big ups to Alan Watts as well. Alan Watts is the guy talking.
Legend.
One doesn't make the end of a composition. If that were so, the best conductors would be those who played fast.
Featuring Alan Watts.
Just to hear one crashing chord, because that's the end. Same way in dancing. You don't aim at a particular spot in the room. That's where you should arrive. The whole point of the dancing is the dance.
I fix myself. No, I don't run. I'll be dancing. No rain or sun.
What was his name? Alan something. He makes a good point.
Alan Watts, he's a philosopher.
Alan Watts. He makes a very good point.
He's a legend, mate. Absolute legend. Everyone should listen to what he's got to say.
Yeah, he took a lot of acid.
His brain is wide open then.
To be fair, the sample was creasing me up loads, and like Gnome was just being an idiot when we were sat there like putting it on loop and doing silly things to it.
That's how you get good stuff though, isn't it? You just piss around until something good comes out.
You're going to be all clutched up.
I wish I could remember the plugin for this organ. It's a really good fucking organ.
Healthily only if you don't try. But we have a strange anxiety in us that if we don't interfere, it won't happen. Now that's the root of an enormous amount of trouble.
Like a Kurzweil
The
emulator.
basis of
It
it all
emulates a really old school organ.
If we say you
But
must
it's just really nice. It's really good for reggae as well.
life is earnest, and I've got to go on, then your life is a drag.
So yeah, that's a little 404 segment. Yeah, some stuff coming on. Yeah, a few free downloads. Obviously, our program track is out now. Got to keep moving. The Invasion track's out now. So yeah, go follow us. Era 404. Is it UK? I think it is, isn't it? At Era 404 UK.
Yeah.
Yes.
404_U.
Just in case you know.
As well, in some.
You want to check out what we're doing? This next tune coming in, personal fave that's been sent in by Korbex, called Fear. Can't believe I haven't heard this before. Big tune. I'm even going to let this play right through.
That's what preserves the order of things. Fear.
It's when it hit the second drop, I was like, no, straight up wheel.
Just a bit fucking silly, isn't it, really?
Fear.
Nice.
Yeah, this one's definitely going in my sets.
Bless man.
The sub just complements everything. Like everything complements everything in this tune. Like it's just fits together so well.
That's what preserves
Yeah, let's
the
get
order
some
of things.
get some production talk on that. Like, so with the bass lines, what's going on with the bass lines? What any plug-in that's used, or what's
No,
Zero?
so like we talked about before, because of the limitations of my laptop. Basically, what I do is I do a lot of resampling.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, what I'm trying to remember. So it has like this rolling sub underneath, and the original sample is basically just kind of like a couple of. It's not even 2 seconds, I think, of this sub hit, but there's like a segment in it. There's just this like beautiful hum, and that hum is basically just cut at as close a point as you can to where the kind of center line starts at the old 0, and then before it begins to move in either direction, and then it's just cut and then layered to get that throughout the whole thing, and then it's just heavily processed, a little bit of kind of like bass boosting, but other than that, yeah, it's really just letting the sub do what the sub needs to do, and keeping everything else in the mids, and separating everything to ensure that they really don't interfere with each other.
Yeah, what about the actual synth bass? Is it the same? Like, are you saying that the sub is producing that from the hum, or are you saying that you've got like the sub and then you've got like another synth doing the synth?
Yeah, so
bass?
the synth that hits on the drop is a resampled. It's like a segment of a resampled Casra hit.
Oh, right.
And I basically just did a small amount of time stretching on it, just to kind of give it a bit more length in it, and then kind of trying to figure out the rest of it just through the reverb.
Nice.
But yeah, the original sample is kind of like a hard hitting, very short kind of. But then by just doing some time stretching to really get it to fill the space that it needed to, that's really what it is. And then there's a lot of kind of like distortion, a lot of reverb.
Yeah.
There's some wave shaping to it as well, just to really get the initial hit of it to come in a lot harder, compress the shit out of that, and then kind of take that compression off as it begins to fade out again.
Nice. I to be honest with you as well, in the very last sort of years, the past years of what I've been producing, I used to be like fully synthesis, but for the past like, I don't know, 3 years or something, I've been more sampling. And but I've now just of recent moved into, I didn't realize that Serum's oscillators, it can sort of save frame rates of samples. So you can load a sample into like one of the oscillators in Serum and use Serum as a sort of like hybrid sampler synth.
Yes, yeah.
And I didn't know you could do that for a long time, and I've only just recently realised that. So I've started making synths like that. It's quite fun to do that for anyone listening that like wants to try that out. You just drag the sample in, and then you can choose different frame rates essentially inside Serum. But
you listening, Dan? You listening?
Yeah, it's a really good thing to mess around with. You just drag weird sounds into Serum and then mess around with them with the parameters that you have.
Yeah, I don't even know you could do that, so that's a good idea.
Yeah, but you design, so I might give it a go.
I made, I don't know if any of you guys have ever, like when you were a kid, watched Dragon Ball Z. I like sampled a guy from this anime, Dragon Ball Z, Goku, doing something called a Kamehameha, which is like a move that he does or whatever. And he goes like Kamehameha or whatever, and I've sampled his voice and put it into Serum and then made a bass line out of it, and it's like quite funny. Like,
fair enough.
It's sort of like a jump. It's sort of like a jump up screechy-ish kind of sound, but like not to the max. But it's got, you can hear him saying Kamehameha behind it, and it's like, you know, it's synthesized.
Yeah.
It's quite cool. Like, I haven't released anything of that yet, but it's worth messing around with, you know, doing that kind of stuff if you like sampling.
Yeah.
Sure.
So most of the kind of the limited amount of sound design that I've been able to delve into, I do with my boy Instinct, who is another guy on the RevDNB label, and he has the kind of processing power and everything like that. So we kind of do collabs and work on different sound designs like that. He comes up with some core ideas, and then from there we kind of shape them into place and things like that. He's got some wicked sound design, so it makes it a lot easier for me to kind of get involved with that.
I can vouch for that too.
And one thing I'm
Big
looking forward,
things.
yeah, one thing I'm looking forward to is getting this new laptop, getting that processing power behind me, and then just slowly beginning to chip away those limitations that I've had to work with previously. So yeah, gas to see what comes in the future.
What laptop have you ordered by any chance? Anyway, is it like a piece, not like Windows?
Yeah, so Windows, yeah, and that's mainly just because I use Fruity Loops, and because of it was originally a Windows software, and then they did kind of like a version for Mac, but because of the way MacBook Pros and stuff like that, they always get updated. They just get more and more sluggish, and to try and operate things like that it just put more and more limitations in it. In the sense that I bought Serum ready to get my sound design game on the go. Only to figure out that when I then loaded it into FL, my processor, and it's not even a processor heavy piece of software, but it just was like, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what I'm looking. I'll go for it.
I was going to say, for anyone listening, like that's interested in my opinion on like Windows and Mac and stuff and that kind of thing. Like I used to be fully, I've used both for a long period of time, and I used to like fix computers for a lot of different people as well, so I know a bit about computers, and I you know, I used to like fully rate Mac up to about 2013 2014. I used to say people buy Mac because it's more optimized and much better for music production in general, not good for gaming but good for you know, like music production and video work as well, if you ever do music videos and things like that. And it was like the superior route to go. After it hit around 2014, 2015, I don't know what happened, but the computers have become like not as optimized, and then they're still offering the same amount of processing power, RAM, and everything else, which is usually lower than what PCs offer for the same price, but not as optimized. So people are buying these like MacBook Pros of like 2016 to today, and they're like pretty shit, and the fans run fast, and that. So I always recommend people to go to Windows at the current situation of Apple, like but obviously it's a massive debate, but it's interesting to hear like what people think about that, because there's so many debates on like production forums and on Facebook, in Facebook groups, about which is better, Mac or Windows and things like that for solely for the purpose of music production. And I think at this current state at the moment, I would probably say Windows is better to go to. But I used to rate Mac all the time. I used to proper promote Mac.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what you're saying, especially on the technical side. It definitely seems over the last many years that they've focused more on being a design company and things like that, and everything else kind of went by the by. But for
Rich,
me,
what are you loading up there, mate?
what I do enjoy is just the customizability.
I just thought I'd have a little play.
Yeah. It's
That's what it was, isn't it?
Indeed. Big dub.
It's like right now I'm using a late 2013 Mac to do my production, but I'm hoping to
Thought that would happen.
Rewind.
Yeah. So yeah, Space Invaders. What tune's this? Do you want to introduce it?
This tune is called Big Sound, and I started it, and Dan obviously helped me finish it. It's staying a dub for the foreseeable future. I don't think it's ever going to see a release, but I just made it because I wanted something fun to do. I wanted to put a spin on a tune that is already made, but I wanted to add my own creation to it. For those who don't know what it is, it's Serum Chop House, unreleased yet. But I just wanted to have a go, see what I could add to it, what me and Dan could add to it.
Big sound.
Go second drop, Rich. Go second drop.
Boys.
Big sound.
Cheeky bit halftime.
So yeah, I sort of just like loved the original tune, so I thought I might as well just like add our own little spin to it, almost like a little sort of jungle side to it maybe, with a few like effects and own drum pattern and that.
Yeah, Roger, we've got there.
Yeah.
And you've got approximately 30 odd vehicles there.
What about the bass lines? What did you use for the bass lines? Is it mostly sampled or?
No, I synthesized the bass lines in it.
Yeah, nice. Was it Serum or?
I actually used a plugin in FL for it.
Oh, nice. What was it? Styrus or?
Yes.
Styrus.
Yes,
yeah,
nice. Citrus, I think it's called.
Citrus, sorry, whatever.
Yeah, that's the one.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
A little FM synth with like loads of little
Yeah.
parameters. Yeah. Nice.
It's one of those synths that is very complicated to get your head around, but once you got it, it's a very powerful plugin.
Yeah, I've used it a few times.
Fully.
I use most doors, so I just switch between them all.
So yeah, this next one coming in, another one from Korbex.
And you've got approximately 30 odd
Street music
vehicles there, and then you've got a large gathering of people there.
We're telling you about gigantic outdoor raves happening across the region almost every weekend. Sometimes they ended in confrontations with the police after residents complained of deafening music in the small hours of the morning. This summer, all has been quiet. Too quiet, say party organisers who accuse the police of using new legislation to try to stamp out the craze altogether.
Street music. Sick. 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 Music. Sick. 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 Music. Sick. 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 Yeah, the street music. Sick, sick, sick. Music, sick, sick, sick. Music, sick.
Love that bit.
Sick.
Yeah, okay, that's a sick tune.
Music.
Crazy.
Thank you very much.
Just Korbex style in a nutshell.
Yeah.
You smelly, man, you smelly.
Yeah, it's still probably my favourite one so far.
Yeah, I'm feeling that one.
Proper like dirty jump up roller.
It reminds me of someone, but I can't think who. Like Emperor or Method or something. Like one of the Sims. I don't mean like the full song. Like,
No,
you know what I mean? It reminds me of something.
Back in 2 minutes, boys.
Alright.
Music, sick, sick, sick. Music, sick, sick, sick. Music, sick, sick, sick.
So, Korbex has even been a darling, and he sent me a little preview folder as well.
They won't stop.
Couple of cheekies.
Couple of cheekies. Couple of cheekies.
Couple of cheekies.
There's still parties going on every week. They're just in smaller venues. It's been driven back underground by the police.
Rich, what happened to Dave anyway?
I think you just went full chipmunk, bro.
Right, he just fucking left. He was just like, fuck this.
Yeah, I think so, because I've obviously got his condenser mic and that here, so he's probably tried to go mobile and not enjoyed the chipmunky thing too much.
Tell him to try again for laughs.
Yeah, the street music.
Try and invite him back in.
Music, sick, sick, sick.
So again, with that one, Gnome, like what you were talking about, the idea about putting some kind of meaning behind the tune, and I came across that street sample or street music sample. It had a bit of a weird timing to it, so like a lot of chopping and stuff like that was done. You can probably notice in the track that he starts off by saying, "Yeah, street music," and then the next one he goes street music, and it's like just chopping it up and getting it. But I love the vibe of that street music, and with everything that we're going through now, with the corona and the lockdown, and there's no music, no parties, everything. I found this old kind of news report from I think it's from the early 90s. That's the sample that's at the front, and it's just talking about how like there are no parties this summer and stuff like that. And I heard it, I was just like, well, that resonates too much. Like, and again with that kind of like heaviness of the tune and the stabbiness of the jump up feel to it with the rollers, it has that street music vibe to it. And I thought, you know what? Let's send the message. We want to go back raving, people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I like
Big ups to that.
I was for some reason, like I think a while ago, not that long ago, I was working on something. I was collecting samples similar to that. So it's kind of like I don't know what video you sampled, but I recognize it from somewhere. But it's probably because I was like trolling through YouTube videos and shit, looking for similar samples for something. But yeah, I was like, oh, I recognize that. It's quite funny, but yeah, no, it sounds good. It fits the tune, because some people do like one thing, like I do as well. Like quite often, is you either build like a really sick intro and then the drop like fails the intro, or the opposite way, or vice versa. Like
100% all the time.
Yeah, you build a sick drop and then it's like, fuck, I don't know how to do an intro for this drop. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
fully.
it's one or the other, isn't it? Always.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I have one tune that I sent across called NGFR. It'll become apparent once we play it why it's called NGFR. But that one, for example, I was very much looking at, again, it's like finding funny samples online, trying to do something with them. But I really wanted to make a tune where the drop, here we go, yeah, exactly, this is the tune. So the drop is kind of out of nowhere, hits very hard, and there's nothing kind of introducing any of the elements, really.
Hits really hard. It sent me across the room, Ollie.
Doesn't often great man look retarded, act retarded. Not retarded. Can't do it.
Just like full on slap your numbers, mate.
Sure.
Oh, big
Not
time.
retarded. Yeah, Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump. Slow, yes, retarded, maybe. Braces on his head. But he trying to pin himself next to him. They want a ping pong competition.
Never go full retard.
I love the sample.
Yeah, mate.
Never go
That's
full
jokes.
retard.
And that's why it's called NGFR.
Pong competition? That ain't retarded. Never go full retard.
This is like screaming for a gnome collab, I swear.
Yeah. No, I love the first synth on that. That's proper up my street. That.
It's one of them tunes, like, every so often really catches your eye. And the first time I heard it, I literally was like, what the fuck? And Ollie was like, yeah, one of mine. I'm like, holy shit.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Switch.
Everyone knows. Like, well, apart from Gnome. He always goes full retard. He goes like beyond, to infinity and beyond.
Makes two of us, then, eh?
Never go full retard.
So, yeah, he went full retard.
It's literally what he says at the end of the drop.
Cheeky.
In a weird way, it was almost like I had to sort of fool my mind into believing that it wasn't retarded. And by the end of the whole thing, I was like, wait a minute, you know? I flushed so much out, how am I gonna...
Yeah,
right?
You was farting in bathtubs and laughing your ass off. Yeah. Never go full retard.
Very much a playful tune. Feel like in some clubs we might have to beep out the R word these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically you're not really supposed to say that word anymore, are we?
Well, I'm not the one saying it, and and it's not called anything.
Me and Gnome constantly like, oh, what?
It's not in the title.
We're not being PC enough. So yeah, this one, another Korbex. What's it? Jungle Junkie.
Jungle Junkie.
Still remember you playing this in Factory.
Yeah, I like how everything sounds like it's almost in the same room. So like when you use a reverb plugin, but like you use it in a way where it, like everything sounds like it's in that environment of what you've created. That's what I like about that track. The basically the environment in which it's like encased or whatever. Because obviously you can create any type of fucking. You can use delay to make reverb if you wanted to, but you know what I mean. Like just the environment that it sounds like it's in. If it makes sense. It's all tight. Whereas sometimes people will make like 3 different bass lines, and then each bass line has a different amount of reverb on it, and it doesn't really interconnect with each other and things like that. So yeah, it sounds all in this. It sounds tight, you know, all in the same environment or whatever.
Thank you. And again, so I do try to as many times as I can, and the only thing I really try to mess around with in my reverbs on different mixer channels is the amount of decay it has for how long that reverb lasts for, just to make sure that it's not like going over different sounds and stuff like that. But other than that, I try to keep the settings very similar as much as I can, just to ensure, like you say, that it does feel like it's been played in the same space, and one thing doesn't sound like it's been played in a tunnel, and the other thing sounds like it's been playing in a dance hall or something like that.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite reverb plugins, or do you just use some of the stock?
I just use the stock ones at the moment. I'd say I mainly use the FL Reverb 2. I think like you've got a lot more kind of movement and stuff that you can control with that. But
that's what we mostly use too.
But there are some cases where I'll just use the regular reverb. It depends on how specific I need to be with what I'm doing.
That's true.
Nice. Rich, mate, where have you gone? Can't see on the camera. You've dissolved into a room.
But yeah, so these tunes that we're going through now, like I said, got Fear and System of Failure are already available on the Revolution DNB SoundCloud page as a free download. So head over there and grab them if you like what you heard. The Space Invaders EP will be out August 10th. Yeah, we got these other tunes are upcoming releases. These are ones for Revolution DNB. We got some other projects, or I specifically have some other projects with some other labels.
Sorry, I just ran toilet again.
Too concrete with at the moment.
Yeah.
So shall I go into your little preview folder? Yeah.
Yeah. So these are kind of the newer ones. These are the ones that they're not finished projects yet, but there's enough there to at least showcase you the style that we're going for. Some more heavy, some touching on some liquid. Let's go.
Matting.
Wheel it up.
Pull up the back tune.
Yeah, I quite like this one.
Bless.
Yeah, this one's going in a nice direction, mate.
I'll be a mud tape.
Sounds like a bee going mad in a glass or something.
Oh my god! That's the food!
That little sample we were going to use in one of our tunes as well.
Yeah, but that like end one then.
Yeah, I like that one. That's a belter.
That was originally going to be Total Carnage's.
Yeah, maybe we went through so many samples though for that tune, didn't we?
Yeah, so many.
This one's called Nomads.
Ooh, heavy.
spray thing's just like pinged off in my face. I was like, I could taste it. So yeah, this next one's called Tecting.
Who's listening to Charlie XCX?
These are some nice drums. It's like OCD clean.
Ooh.
Yeah,
That's
the
like
drum-
ground
Oh.
style stuff or something like that.
Yeah, the drums definitely stand out.
Nice.
How clean they are.
Yo, that's like wings or something like that as well. Minimal deep.
So yeah, I think I've got 2 more tracks left in the folder that you guys have sent me. So I'll play those next. And I'll probably finish up on our Heathens bootleg that's out now. Free download on SoundCloud or DNB Share. But yeah, anything you want to talk about at the end here, Justin?
Not really, no, not that I can think of. Oh yeah,
Nah.
I need to mention that plugin that I was gonna find. Fuck. It's like a string plugin that this famous guy who plays violin called Josh. I can't remember his second name, but he did like a bunch of samples for Contact, Native Instruments, and the plugin is honestly, it's just premium. Like, you need to get that fucking plugin. I'll figure out what it is and then mention it after this track or whatever.
So yeah, this one's that sort of cheeky dub that you've done, Jamrock, Space Invaders.
Jamaica.
This was actually our first ever presume.
Yeah. Man, it seems like so long ago now, doesn't it?
But it does. The start of lockdown, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah.
together anyway.
Yeah, it literally was. It was like the first couple of weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm a big fan of this tune. Really like this tune.
Unsigned at the minute as well.
Yeah, we've got problems with that sample though, innit? That's the only problem.
Nah, not if it's free download, it's fine.
Oh yeah, like for a free download it'll be fine.
Yeah, you can get away with free download.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I say put it out, to be fair, mate, because it's just sitting there doing nothing.
Right, who wants it?
I reckon, mate, just fucking send it.
Could
There's a cheeky little second drop halftime as well.
could look at it. Maybe it's a 3-track EP you're doing on the 10th. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? We might be
Prodigy
saying too much
knows.
now. Are we talking too much now? I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
Right, that plugin is called Joshua Bell Violin Plugin. So it's a virtual plugin. So it's Joshua Bell Violin Virtual Plugin. Some guy called Joshua Bell who's like sick of playing violin. He got sampled essentially from Contact, but it's definitely worth buying if you want singular violin solo stuff in your project. It just sounds perfect, and you can play it on the keyboard any note. Instantly changes the expression depending on what note you're on and things like that. It's just so automatic. It's just worth getting, basically. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is that I briefly mentioned this to Rich when we were both like pissed off our face or whatever, but Like we wanted to, we think Era 404 in general. We're thinking about putting a 12-track EP together of various album of various artists, and also have like remixes of those songs. So I don't know who's interested in that, but we're probably going to look for like as many artists as we can to be involved on that. Probably 12 artists.
We'd be interested. Definitely.
Yeah. I think it'd be quite fun. You know, it'll just be different. You know, having this massive. Because it'll be 24 tracks at the end of it, but it would just be something different to do in the scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hit me up for that. Hit me up for that.
So yeah, this track, Korbex again on the cheeky GTA bootleg.
Fair.
Yeah, boy.
Have you had Dave in the studio doing his chipmunk? To be fair, you wait till you hear this hernia tune we've done with Dave's vocals in it. It is brilliant.
Fuck off if you actually got Dave doing vocals.
Mate, it's the best thing you've ever heard.
Like from a high pitch in it.
Yeah, one of them's quite high pitched. It's brilliant.
Ooh, very low end.
Darka. So yeah, that's kind of all the bits you sent me. But yeah, that's quite a lot of content, which we like. We like it. So yeah, make sure everybody that's listening, go and check out RevDNB, Korbex and Space Invaders. Thank you very much for joining us, guys.
Thank you, and
Thank you for inviting us on.
Big ups for having us, and yeah, for the Revolution DNB crew, you can catch our live stream every Friday. On the 24th of this month, will be
Munchies.
You're hungry, mate.
I think I might be, mate. It's getting late, innit?
This munchies.
On the 24th of this month, we'll be teaming up with Rodeo Records on their 2020 live stream up in Oxford. So keep eyes peeled for that. Head over to Revolution DNB on Facebook to get all the details. And big ups to the 404 crew, man.
Yeah, nice one. I'm sure we'll have you on again quite soon if you're making enough beats like that at the moment. Keep them coming. It's good to see, really, like the whole of the Southwest is kind of at a point at the moment where I think it's having a bit of like an evolutionary stage. Even though we're all shut down, it kind of feels like, you know, everybody's kind of emerging together at the moment, which is kind of nice, which is kind of what we started the podcast for, really, is to try and, you know, showcase all of it. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Can we address the cat in the room? No, what's its name?
Tiger.
Hello, Tiger.
And one thing I want to say before we finish this off is I just want to give a big shout out to Factory. Like Revolution DNB wouldn't be anywhere near what it is today.
Yeah, I was gonna say that next. Obviously, the Factory stuff. Yeah. So yeah, obviously you guys have been part of it for quite a while as well, and yeah, it's a pretty crazy thing. This, yeah, we've obviously had to start a crowdfunder. You know, we're not giving up, and we're not at the end of the road yet. But you know, we're struggling to survive. Obviously, BBC invited me on last night to talk to them about it all because we started the crowdfunder. We're going to be doing some online projects, hopefully like an online festival. So yeah, obviously we'll get you guys involved as much as we can with that as well because hopefully we'll be streaming from the club. But yeah, anybody that's following the Factory crowdfunder, donate anything you can, or if you can't, just share it about, spread some awareness. try and let us keep our venue going, because yeah, when we do reopen, we'll have some big plans.
Big plans, big plans.
So yeah,
excited.
I'll leave you on the
pipeline.
Heathens bootleg of ours, I guess.
Oh yeah.
And like Rich said, let's not let the fucking Southwest die out now that we've actually got artists, a real community of people. Let's get
Exactly. Let's keep the fight going.
Let's do it. Big ups.
Thank you very much, guys, and yeah, we'll chat to you all soon.
See you soon, boys.
Take it easy, everybody.
So yeah, this one, free download, Error 404, Heathens bootleg. Is it 21 Pilots? Yeah, 21 Pilots.
Watch it.
Special shouts going out to Chipmunk Dave, who are obviously missing this week.
Yeah, we hope his vocal cords recover soon.
He's been in the studio too much.
Fucking love face. So funny.
Right, see you all later.
See you later, guys.
Nice,
Thank
see
you.
you later,
Big
bye.
ups. Bye bye.
Cheers for having us. Appreciate it.